which they ended up doing. When Jeff took 2 tires, I was not expecting him to do that, so that really shook things up again and took out some heavy hitters. So I'm curious to see what the points are going to look like after the night, and maybe it's put us back into a hunt. I hope so. I mean, we got Dagan next week, so that's going to be a big one. So yeah, I'm tired.
Understand that, buddy. It is a late night here. We're not quite used to it being this late, finishing out beyond that midnight Eastern time. But, Joseph, what is the team here going to do to prepare for Talladega next week, being I believe, the last race of this first round of playoffs?
I think the plan is just kind of do what we normally do. Me and Mark are really good at super speedway racing, even though Mark hates super speedway racing, and I'm not a big fan of it either. But I'm glad that we're, in my opinion, the better car on super speedway racing. It is a little setup dependent sometimes because, like, if the setup's not really all that well, it doesn't really race well. Um, at Vegas, so like I'm hoping that they can get the tape or get the front end set the correct way, so that way we can have everything to where you can get runs developing and it's not just a too wide log jam. So it's just going to be me and him working together next week and hopefully executing. We've done that a lot, so we'll see what happens.
Sounds like a solid plan to me, Joseph. Anybody you'd like to say thanks to for putting you up here on the podium tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank Rec Hammer Racing. Go check them out at rechammerracing.com. They're an awesome sponsor of mine. They give me all my race wear that I wear in real life. I'm really looking forward to, repping their stuff next year at Springfield Raceway in my dirt car. Unfortunately, like I said, this is probably going to be my last season here. Um, so hopefully we can end it out with a win. And I want to also thank harpoondesign.com, all my teammates, John on a good run tonight. Mark got some damage. Brantley for the awesome spotting tonight. Daryl as well. Um, awesome paint schemes by him. Go check him out at harpoondesign.com. Uh, who else am I thinking of? You guys for putting on the broadcast. It's weird seeing you up in the booth and not down on the racetrack, but can't wait to go back and listen to Mr. Santa and see how everything turned out. All the admins for the hard work tonight. Um, they really had their work cut out whenever the server died. So I appreciate them sticking with it and keeping everything going.
Absolutely. Big shout out to those admins getting everything taken care of between those sessions. Obviously, some weird circumstances, but they handled it amazingly. Joseph, thank you for your time, and we will hopefully see you next week at Talladega.
Yeah, hopefully next week I'm putting you a lap down.
Oh, we're not doing that. No, sir.
All right, see you next week, brother.
Then we will move right along to Connor Horn with our second place finisher, Ryan Carwile.
Hey Ryan, it's Connor. You got a copy?
Yep, I got a copy.
Well, this one took a while. It was kind of like running a marathon, and this was certainly one for the record books. I think that everyone can agree on. But at the end of the day, you didn't lead any laps, but you got to the front when it mattered, and you almost had a shot at the win. What more did you need to get the Ray there on that final run?
I think I just needed better luck on the tire strategy. Unfortunately, it went long after I stayed out, and track position is really key here, and that's definitely the big difference there.
And obviously, it was a crazy restart. The few restarts before, we were pretty confident it was the 48 or 35s race, but then they made contact. You were able to at least get by all that contact. How wild was the racing after the reset specifically? Because it just seemed like everyone was going all out.
Yeah, for sure, and I think we had some differing tire strategies just because the lap distance was a little weird. It was like you could stay out or come in, and not really, it could go either way. So when you have people on older tires, with newer tires, I mean, you got to go. So you end up with four wide racing at Bristol.
Yeah, I did not see four wide, but if there was four wide, I need to find it because three wide was very common tonight, especially on that final restart. But second place after I guess technically starting second in the reset, but either way, you get a runner-up finish for today. I believe this is probably your best finish. I think it's your best finish of the season, for sure. So congratulations on that. A good run for you in that Mustang. And when you want to thank, shout out.
I'd just like to shout out the league admins for figuring everything out so quickly and putting everything back together because I don't envy that position at all.
Yeah, definitely a tough situation for everyone. You stuck it out. Other 29 drivers stuck it out. We stuck it out too. We got a good race because of it. Ryan Carwile, runner-up tonight. One spot short, but thanks for talking to us, Ryan. We'll see you. Hopefully, we see you next week, and hopefully, we see you at a better hour.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yes, sir. That brings us to Victory Lane. I'll just warp over to Victory Lane. That's how easy it is on V Speed because Adam Baker does a lot of work for us. That's what I'm going to claim. But it is Ray Massey taking the checkered flag with his first win of the season. Ray, you got a copy?
I got a copy. How are you, Connor?
I'm pretty good. It's late, but we got a heck of a finish to go along with it. Obviously, you had a pretty good run, probably a top 10, maybe top 5 run all night long, and you were in a pretty good spot. You got up to third with the strategy. You were seeing Banks, Jeff Wright battling pretty hard. And then they make contact. All of a sudden, you get the race lead. We're having flashbacks from Chicagoland because of that. What were you thinking in that moment?
Yeah, that's what McWhirter and I were talking about on the race channel. It's just a flashback to Chicago. Just I had a lot more than 1,000 feet to get to the finish line. So, yeah, I just turned it to the bottom as hard as I could, trying to get by Jeff, and he kind of clipped me as I went by. So, I was able to make it out of there and hold him off.
You were able to hold everyone off. That final restart, you lead, I assume, the final 19 laps of this race. You had Carwile, who had a pretty clean car. You had the right front damage from the contact with the 48. What was your main focus on that final restart? You were able to pull away, but it couldn't have been that easy.
No, I was the damage I could tell was affecting it. I asked Chris, my spotter, to take a look at the front end of the car, and he said it was crinkled pretty good. So I knew I was wounded, but you just take care of the tires here, and they go a long way. So that's what I tried to do all night. That's why I wasn't pushing towards the front as much, trying to save my stuff, hoping for a long run. And we got a couple decent runs, but cautions came here and there along the way and got put to the back, cycled through a couple times, and then tried to work my way to the front each time.
You definitely got to the front at the right time for sure. And obviously, this is going to be a big win, your first of the season. So, first in a little while at least. And what better way to do it than the second race of the chase, especially at a track like Bristol? How special is it to get a victory at a track this huge in stock car racing?
It doesn't get any better, Connor. This is literally my home racetrack. I'm about 25 minutes away from the racetrack. So I love Atlanta. Old Atlanta is one of my favorites, but Bristol's home. So winning here in any series is a whole lot of fun. So yeah, love it.
And what a thrilling way to get a home victory for you as well. So congratulations on that, especially. Anyone you want to thank, shout out.
Yeah, I always shout out Clark Print Shop. That's my brother-in-law's business. He's one of the series sponsors, and appreciate what they do. And all the sponsors, M&J Distributors, 29 Graphics, Walking Rolling, they're an associate on mine. So appreciate all they do for the league, and appreciate the admins. They had a tough night tonight, but they worked through it and did the best they could. I appreciate the efforts that they do every week. You guys up in the booth, I'm sure you're up there with Logan, aka Santa Claus, tonight. So tell him that Christmas came early for me.
It most
And
certainly did.
I got to shout out Chris and my dad, my spotter and crew chief. They help keep me calm. It gets intense here, so they were keeping me under control and helped me win tonight. So shout out to them.
Definitely an early Christmas present. Let's call it a Thanksgiving turkey present or something like that. Either way, you get the victory. 19 laps led, the final 19, I would assume. Congratulations, Ray. Big win for you. Thanks for talking to us. We'll see you hopefully next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
And that is our final interview of the night. Ray Massey stealing one a little bit, the checkered flag here tonight. As we'll look back at a few things, we know what the points were coming in. We'll know next week what they were coming out of it. The bracket, we could kind of piece together who finished where at least. Obviously, there were some bracket battles that were kind of nullified. As see if we can get a look at those bracket battles. Lakatos and Stravato, one of those drivers will advance, even though none of them were here tonight. Brandon Wallace will advance. He will face Dakota Floyd. We know that is for certain. Mark McFadden, who will he face? He will face Noah Mahalski. Mahalski, barring any caused cautions, did finish ahead of Michael Sturgill. So barring any penalties, it would be Mahalski facing McFadden next week at Talladega. Max Cost versus Reggie Ortega. I did see Ortega had some incidents at the end, but Max Cost was laps down, so it should be unofficially Reggie Ortega moving on to take on Austin Belkey. So we know those are for sure some of the matchups, or unofficially for sure, some of the matchups we'll see next week. But this was a wild one and a long one. Logan, final thoughts on what a wild race this was?
That's about as simple as you can put it. This started with all sorts of issues, not due to anything within the league, but iRacing as a whole not working out for us here tonight. But again, the admin's doing a fantastic job getting things straightened out for us so we could get a good race in tonight. And I don't know, it was hectic the entire time that we had green flag racing and even that incident under caution. So it doesn't even eliminate the possibilities of words to use for this race, but we'll leave it at that, Connor.
We'll leave it at 3 pretty common words for this track. It's Bristol, baby. That's just what can happen sometimes, and that's what we got tonight. Just a quick note, we don't know who the points leader will be. My guess it'll probably be Jeff Wright. After the contact with Joshua Banks, he finished in the 16th position, and Banks finished 17th. But it's for another time, as we got the schedule for the next few weeks. We get a big one, another wild card. We haven't even looked at the schedule, but it's a wild card next Saturday at Talladega, where anything can and will happen. 4 wide, we might see 5 wide, you name it, it'll be wild. Then our final off week of the season for Thanksgiving before we get the final 2 race stretch at New Hampshire and Las Vegas in the middle of December to end things. Once again, points leader finishes 16th, and the bracket challenge going on as we already noted. So it should be a fun stretch to the championship finale in Vegas. But for now, that's all we got. Logan Threlkeld on the broadcast doing all the dirty work. Can't thank him enough for everything he's done. Bradley Cooper, I'll hopefully see you next week, buddy. Everything Adam Baker does for us. Alec Martinez, everyone who works on V-Speed. This has been a fun one, but a long one, but we got through it 12:30 Eastern time. For now, I got to say good night to everyone. Hope you guys have a great night, and another big congratulations to Ray Massey, your victor from Bristol Motor Speedway. Have a good night, everyone.